What's the most ridiculous thing you did to impress someone you liked? When I was 17, I convinced my entire high school that I was fluent in French, all because Celeste transferred from Montreal and I wanted her to notice me. She sat behind me in calculus, speaking French on the phone with her grandmother. Her voice was like honey, even when she was arguing about homework deadlines. I'd never heard anything so beautiful. During lunch, I overheard her tell friends how homesick she felt. "Nobody here understands French culture," she said sadly. "I miss having real conversations." That's when I hatched my brilliant plan. I spent the weekend memorizing phrases from online videos. On Monday, I casually dropped, "Bonjour, ça va?" as I passed her locker. Her face lit up like I'd handed her a winning lottery ticket. "Tu parles français?" she asked excitedly. I nodded confidently, having no idea what she'd said. Word spread fast. By Wednesday, half the school thought I was some linguistic genius. Teachers asked me to help with pronunciation. The French club president invited me to join their competition team. I was trapped in my own lie. Every night, I studied frantically. I memorized restaurant menus, weather phrases, and random poetry. When Celeste invited me to study together, I pretended my throat hurt so I could nod instead of speaking. The charade worked for 3 weeks. Celeste and I grew closer, bonding over what she thought were shared cultural experiences. She'd ramble in rapid French while I smiled and made vague, agreeable sounds. She interpreted my confusion as deep contemplation. Then came International Night. Principal Rodriguez announced that I'd be representing France alongside Celeste. We'd perform a dialogue for parents and the school board in front of 400 people. My stomach dropped. I convinced my cousin Diego to help me memorize a scripted conversation about French pastries. We practiced until I could recite it perfectly, even if I didn't understand a word. The night arrived. Standing backstage in a ridiculous beret, I felt like a fraud. Celeste squeezed my hand and whispered something encouraging in French. We walked onto the gymnasium stage. Under the bright lights, I saw my parents beaming with pride. Dad had his phone out, ready to record his polyglot son's glory. Celeste began our rehearsed dialogue. I responded with my memorized lines. The audience nodded approvingly. Then Celeste went off script. She launched into rapid, animated French that definitely wasn't about croissants. The audience chuckled along, waiting for my witty response. I stood frozen, my mind blank. When she finally stopped, everyone stared at me expectantly. I opened my mouth and said the only French phrase I could remember. "Où est la bibliothèque?" Where is the library? The gymnasium fell silent. Celeste's face crumpled. Someone snickered. "I'm sorry," I whispered into the microphone. "I don't actually speak French." The confession hung in the air like a toxic cloud. My parents looked mortified. Principal Rodriguez pinched the bridge of his nose. Celeste stared at me with heartbreak and fury. "You've been lying to me for a month?" she asked in perfect English. I nodded miserably. She walked off stage, leaving me alone under the lights with 400 pairs of disappointed eyes. I became the laughingstock of the school. Teachers used me as an example of academic dishonesty. The French club banned me for life. Someone created a meme of my library question. But the worst part was losing Celeste's trust. She transferred back to Montreal before graduation. 15 years later, I actually learned French through night classes. Not to impress anyone, just to prove to myself I could. Sometimes I wonder if Celeste would laugh about it now.